Alright. Hey everybody. I'm going to try to run through this, explain some things to everyone real quick. So, here we have single player. These are the different difficulties, right? There's only one slightly lower than us in Explorer mode. We were playing on Classic mode. So there's only one step lower than where we were at anyway. And as we progress forward, we can make it more difficult. It seems really hard starting out, especially if there are, even if they're equal number of enemies or whatever, if they're a level above us or whatever, it's really difficult at this point from the few fights we've had. There have been things that we've been able to manage, but some of these fights we've run into on the island have been really hard. So anyway, to explain some things about the classes, um, uh, here we're starting out. Character creation, origin, pops up, shows you the Red Prince, right? The Red Prince is a custom, not a custom character, but he's an actual like in-game character that you can pick to play as from the start. And he has his own little unique abilities. Same with her. Same with this guy, this guy, this guy. Because if you see right under listen to origin story, there's a dragon breathing fire, and then there's like a dragon eyeball looking thing. So those are two skills that this character gets. Same with her. And if I go left is where it starts the whole we can make ourselves type thing, or whoever we want us to be, rather than these Larian built uh, characters with their own little background, right? So if I scroll left is when we get into the undead custom people and their races. If I go right from the prince, it goes through all of the other Larian characters that we meet in the world. You know, if we make our own people, they're on the boat, they're on the island, we can talk to them. Like, they're there to add to your party if you're playing by yourself, is what these people are for. Um, then once we get past Fane here, the undead guy, then we get into the dwarf, so the custom dwarf, custom elf, human, and lizard. So every race has its own unique skill. You see the dwarf has that brown one. That's the petrify move Casey uses. The elf has that blood sacrifice thing that Corey was using. Human has that encouragement, so that's what I used. I was able, I use this for 3 turns. It boosts everybody's primary stat. And then Cody's fire breath with the lizard. But you can see on the second one, we all have the same like weird little shield, purple white shield with an aura around it, whereas all of these other people, they have their own weird little custom thing. The other thing we all get based on your race is specialized talents. So sturdy and dwarven guile, corpse eater, ancestral knowledge, ingenious and thrifty, and then sophisticated and spell song. So to see what those are, if we go over here to talents, it'll be up here at the top. Sturdy, 10% max vitality, which is great, 5% dodge, and then guile, +1 in sneak, so that's really good too. Especially if you wanted to play like a dwarven rogue. So the dwarf seems pretty good for a rogue type character. Elf, we go over here. Ancestral knowledge, +1 lore master. Corpse eater, lets you eat body parts to access memories of the dead, which could be necessary in order to do certain quests, to investigate certain things, right? So that's really cool and really unique and really kind of weird. Human, ingenious, and thrifty. So if we go over here, ingenious, 5% bonus crit, 10% crit multiplier. So that's really good for damage, and then thrifty +1 to bartering. So buying and selling things. Bartering helps out with a lot. Then we go to the lizard talents, sophisticated, uh, fire and poison resistance, and then spell song +1 persuasion is what we get from that. Persuasion is, when you're talking to somebody and you're trying to convince them to do something for you or just stop doing something, helps you can actually be charismatic enough to convince them for that to happen. Here you can see the tags, right? Lizard, male, because we're a male. To change male and female, right click at the origin screen. Male lizard short, female lizard's tall and skinny. You can do that with anyone. Next tab at the top, appearance. Right stick there filters through armorless and armored, so you can see exactly what your things affect without any armor. Then we go over here to the presets section. Before I go there real quick, on the origin tab, at the bottom is where all of these stereotypical classes are. So this is Larian's way of helping people figure out what they want to do and be, and so they give these little presets that give you skills and abilities and everything automatically based on the name of what it is. So if you see something cool like, oh yeah, I want to be a melee guy, I want to be a knight, so then that's what there is. There's a knight ready for you. And all these do is they take, so let's go to Cody's class real quick, Rogue. They take what's in the game and then take from that, put your stats in, put this in, and then build what they would classify as a rogue preset. So if we go over here to preset, we scroll over twice past appearance and go to preset. Up at the top, we can switch back and forth between these. So then we go below that, and there's attributes. So the rogue Larian gave this rogue preset +2 finesse, +1 con. So we get a bonus to our finesse weapon damage, and then a little bit extra health. Combat abilities, they give us the preset of Scoundrel and Dual Wielding. And then for civil abilities, they give us +1 in Sneaking. And for skills, they gave us whatever the hell these are. So to see exactly what they gave us here, we hit X and we go to this screen, and it details all of these different skills and what they give you. Strength is good for normal martial weapons like swords and maces and whatnot. Finesse weapons are, daggers, light weapons, bows also apply to finesse. So that's where this comes into. So this will increase finesse based damage by having points into this. And then constitution, like I said before, is health. And then memory gives you more ability slots for your character. So as you get higher up, you want to start putting points into this little by little as you get more skills. If you get more skills, if you don't, there's no point in putting anything into memory until you're going to need the slot to put something else in. Wits is really good. Affects your crit chance, initiative, and your ability to see things in the world that are hidden, so traps and treasures and stuff. So Wits is really fun and really good for just to put a point or two in here and there as you start to level up, because initiative is how early you are in the turn order in combat. So the higher initiative you get, the more likely you are to go first in combat or one of the first in combat rather than dead last. And then crit chances is obvious to you guys. And then being able to detect like hidden treasures and stuff is just really neat as we're wandering around. Yeah, so that's what they gave us for the rogue. Go into combat abilities. So if we go here, there's all kinds of these. There's defense abilities, there's weapon abilities, and then there's skills, your combat skills, right? They gave us dual wielding and scoundrel. So dual wielding, if I hit triangle here, increases damage and dodge when dual wielding two one-handed weapons. So that's really good. For your attacks, you get increased damage and increased dodge chance in combat. If we go up to Scoundrel, Scoundrel gives movement speed. So these are passives. you get. The difference between skills, whoops, the difference between skills and then these weapons and defense is that the skills section here is actually what uh, give you abilities to use in combat. So Scoundrel here is actually, if you go over to these skills that it gave us, so these are the three, the little heart we saw earlier, is adrenaline, this is backlash, and this is throwing knife, right? So these are actually from this Scoundrel skill. So if we go here, we go to see at the bottom, requires one Scoundrel, requires one Scoundrel, requires a dagger, requires one Scoundrel, and requires a dagger. So all these come from this. So if I take this away, those go away. So like I said before, the presets are just there to give you like an idea of what they like, the idea of a stereotypical class, right? But you can customize this any way you want. So right now we have 1 point we can put in anything. Well, they put 1 into dual wielding, so we take that away because all in reality the dual wielding does is increase the damage you do while you have 2 one-handed weapons. So dual wielding early on may not be that great. It may be what you want, may not be. Same thing for all these. All these do is just increase your damage when you have a certain weapon type. And then down here are defensive things. Also, not that great to start out. You know, you may put points in these later on. The only one that might be worthwhile is this leadership one, but that's if we were all like, maybe we were all melee and we were all close together. So this grants stuff like for people within 8 meters. 8 meters is not very far. So even that's not that great unless we were like an all melee party. So what you want is you want to put both of your points into one of these top skills, right? So Scoundrel, we know we want to be a rogue type character. Cool. Scoundrel sounds great. Summoning, polymorph, all of these give you access to different abilities to start out. Huntsman is range, so if we go over here, say we wanted Scoundrel and Huntsman, right? We want a bow, we want to be a rogue, we want a sneaky sneak, and we want to be able to shoot at a distance, right? Then we go over here, and this has unlocked the ability for us to pick our first 3 skills without having to learn anything else, without having to find books. This is all we get to start out. So you can choose from these first, all 8 of these, to have 3 to start with. If you didn't feel like diversifying at the beginning and having maybe first aid and then, you know, backlash and adrenaline, if you didn't really care to do that and you just wanted to choose from one thing, then you could just go back, you know, take away the Huntsman, go all in on Scoundrel, get level 2 in Scoundrel. You go from a 5% crit multiplier to a 10, and then you also get movement speed. This helps in combat, lowers your AP needed to move while you're in combat. You know, you can still maintain this base thing, and not have to worry about having that other stuff. Civil ability here, sneak versus thievery. You know, you only get 1 point to put in here. So bartering comes passively from being a human. So we got to put 1 point in this. Do we want to be able to be sneakier, or do we want to be able to thieve, pickpocket, whatever? That's up to you. Thievery is really good early on. Improves your lock picking as well. So, you know, we got a locked door or a locked chest. Then thievery is really great. Sneaking plays into this, so both of these kind of play into each other. You may put 1 point into this and then several other points into this. The more thievery you have, the more you're able to steal at one time, which is both based on both weight and value. So that's kind of the gist of everything here. Then you go into talents, you know, you have all these. We kind of look through these as we level up. These are pretty self-explanatory, and they'll tell you if they require anything specific. Like that requires warfare, that requires hydro. Then we go over to tags. Um, just kind of gives you these little dialogue things. Like you pick kind of this kind of custom-esque background for your character, and then you get these little um, dialogue options in game related to this tag, and then your instrument. So that's kind of the gist of all that. I hope that helps. I really The one thing I'm confused about is I wish it would tell you what those are from the get-go, right? I don't see them anywhere. No. Yeah, so I guess to find out what each character's little special skills are, you'd have to look that up online. We know that's We know what the races, the main race ones are. Um, that one's fire breath. This is encouragement. This is um, cut your wrist to get AP, and this is petrify. So anyway, I hope that helps kind of with all that. Um, as I said before, skills you get in game with books. They're like one of the first things you want to try to steal to learn more stuff, because they're pretty expensive. And then you get higher level skills with higher level books, and then to learn higher level skills, you're required to have higher level and other things. So, or in the related combat skills. So if I wanted a level 2 scoundrel move, I'd have to have 2 level 2 scoundrel, right? So, that's it.